Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Sarasota Jerry, and I wanted to have a real serious talk to you with you tonight about some things that might change your life because I know they changed mine. Uh, a couple of months ago, I got a call from my dad. He owns a business called Withlacoochee Willie's Septic Tank Pumping and Hog Trapping Service, and he said he was ready to retire and wanted to hand the business over to me. And I said, well, I don't know. I said, I don't want to live up there where you do. I said, but I could move the business down here to Sarasota. There ain't a whole lot of demand for hog trapping here in the city, but there is a lot of crap to pump in Sarasota. Anyhow, uh, I got to thinking about it, and I go, man, I've never run a business. I wouldn't even know how to start. Uh, I have my meth lab, but I figured, well, I could give that up. But uh, I talked to a couple friends of mine, and they suggested that I Google uh, how to succeed in business. And I said, Google. I said, I don't even know what that is. I said, is that anything like bopping your baloney like I learned how to do when I was 12? And they said, no, 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 it's on the internet. And I said, oh, okay. So they told me how to do it. And I got on there and I put in how to become an amazing success in business. And these videos come up from a guy named Tampa Brad. Well, I watched a couple of these, and Brad told us long story about how fantastic his business is and how Scientology helped him. And I didn't know anything about this Scientology stuff, so I go, wow, man, this guy is really something. And I thought, well, if it worked for him, it could work for me too. So I did know that I looked up Scientology then, and I saw there was a place in Clearwater. So I drove on up there, and there was this huge, huge building there. And I pulled up and parked and walked across the street and up the steps. And I didn't get no more than about 3 feet inside the front door. And there's 4 or 5 guys standing around me asking me what I wanted. And I said, well, I'm here to find out about this Scientology thing. And they said, well, no, we can't help you here. And I said, well, this is Scientology, isn't it? And they said, yeah, but we can't help you here. All of a sudden, this little guy walks into the room there in the foyer, and everybody's standing up at attention and saluting this guy. And he walks over to me and he goes, what the hell's going on here? And I says, I'm here to learn about Scientology. I said, Tampa Brad recommended you. And he said, Tampa Brad? He says, get the hell out of here. And I go, gee, many Christmas, this guy's an angry little guy. He stood about 4'13" maybe. But anyhow, they tossed me out the door. Well, I said, man, I really want what Brad has, and I ain't giving up. So I looked again, and I saw there was a Scientology place in Tampa. So I drove on over there. Man, what a world of difference. They was a lot friendlier over there. They greeted me at the door, and they was so friendly. And they took me around on a tour, told me all about this fantastic guy, L. Ron Hubbard. Man, this guy had all the secrets of the universe. And what a great man he was. And how he could help me and change my life and give me powers that I never imagined. Well, I said, boy, that'd be just great. They said, oh, wonderful. And they sent me over to somebody called a registrar. They said, we'll sign you up for some Scientology services. Well, this guy got me in this room, and man, he suggested I buy a book, Dianetics, and I think they wanted $40 for it or 30 or something like that. And I said, well, I got that in my pocket. The meth lab business was a little slow, but I need to get my other business going. And he ended up, he wouldn't let me out of that room until he sold me some courses, something called a purification rundown. And then he sold me a whole bunch of auditing he said I needed to start on my journey. And the whole bill come to about $8,000. And I go, oh, man, I ain't got that kind of money. Man, they were just beating up on me. It's like old Cousin Eddie said in the Vacation movie. I ain't seen a beating like that since somebody stuck a banana down my pants and turned a monkey loose, Well, anyhow, I told him, I said, I'll buy the Dianetics book and keep them courses in for me. I'll get that $8,000 you need. And I got to thinking, what would Brad do? Well, I finally come up with this tremendous idea that I'd go home and get the little woman and suggest to her that she start this internet channel on something called OnlyFans or something like that, and do a little sexy stuff on there, Well, man, she really loved that. And I could see how much fun she was having. She was starting to make money for us. And I said, well, I'll join in here and have a little fun too. So we made a video where I played a Subway sandwich delivery boy with DoorDash. And she was a lonely widow. And when I knocked on the door, she asked me to help her find her earrings in her couch while I was there. And one thing led to another, and I ended up showing her my foot long, if you know what I mean. Well, anyhow, boy, that video went over great. And pretty soon, you know it, I had all the money I needed, and I skipped back to that Scientology place in Tampa. They call it an org. I'm an insider now. And I gave them the money. And they said they were going to start me on something called a purification rundown, where they needed to clean my body out so I'd be ready to receive all the rest of the Scientology services and their auditing and stuff. And they stuck me in this steam room for hours. Man, I was sweating. I sweated out everything I've ever eaten in my life. I even sweated out that bottle of NyQuil I drank the night before. Well, anyhow, after a while I did that, and they give me vitamins and everything. I think they started to help me because I think one of my teeth started growing back. After that, they suggested I go in for a couple hours of auditing. And so this nice guy, we go into this room, and he gives me these two things he calls cans. And it's hooked to a thing they call the E-meter. And it tells you, that needle tells that guy what you're telling him is the truth and how you're reacting to stuff and things. Man, this guy got me to admit stuff I'd have never thought I'd ever admitted to. I even told him about the time that I humped that goat on my uncle's farm when I was 12. Boy, I'll tell you, he asked me all kinds of questions about that, like what color was the goat? Did the goat enjoy it? Oh, man, by the time my needle floated, I had that all off my chest after carrying that around all these years. And I felt so good. And, man, I've gone out into the world now, and I got my business going, pumping septic tanks. I took on just 10 employees this week. I'm charging them each couple of thousand to train them. I can get some more money then for Scientology, but I wanted to tell you all, I'd like you all to consider this Scientology stuff. And that it could change your life too, My business is just thriving now, just in a couple of months. And, you know, I owe it all to Tampa Brad. I'm telling you, I got to be honest. So, Brad, if you're out there and you ever see this, you're my hero, man. You're my hero. And so is old L. Ron. Man, what a guy. L. Ron and Tampa Brad. Man, they're changing the world. Well, that's all I got to say tonight. I'll try to check in with y'all again and tell you all the wins in my life. And I hope you all have a good evening. And if you too are thinking about Scientology, just go to the Oregon, Tampa, or wherever the nearest one is to you, and tell them Jerry in Sarasota and Tampa Brad sent you. But just don't go to that place in Clearwater, man. That little man's angry, let me tell you. Oh, anyhow, you all have a good evening, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.